Welcome to our international podcast, Below the Belt. Who vex lose? Welcome, folks, and happy Sunday. Hope you guys are having a great day. Let us know how you're hearing us out there. Isabella Butter says she's watching us from Valley Stream. Yep. Tell us where Valley Stream is as well. Y'all get around, Y'all like walk. Some of y'all really like walk. Good to see you, Beatrice Selby. Hope you had a great birthday. Beatrice celebrated her birthday about 2 days ago.
Yes.
Happy belated birthday. We told her happy birthday on
yes.
her birthday. So we're
Happy
not.
belated birthday, Beatrice.
Did I say we have Julia with us? Yep,
Here
we have
I
Julia.
am. I'm a co-host of
Yes,
the FYI program. I'm a co-host of Below the Belt.
Yeah. She there.
I've inserted myself.
Good to see you, folks. The people looking tin today, looking tin. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. Corrector Fraser Kingston, good to see you. And guys, we're going to be joined by I'm looking for an adjective. What's an adjective to describe our guest today? There's so many, but like I want just your right adjective.
Dynamic.
Dynamic. That might be the word.
I think that's it. Dynamic regional chairman.
And you know what? Yes. It's a good alliteration too. The dynamic Jaron Adams.
Yes.
These. We got
See,
it.
I got it.
You got it.
Yes.
Spot on. Fist bump. The dynamic Jaron Adams, the regional chairman out of Region 10. He is going to be joining us, and we're going to be talking about some of the issues on the ground at his end. Desiree Hollingsworth. You see that comment? Thanks for your kind word, Desiree, who's telling us to have a great day. Thanks for that. Sukchan Sudhari is here as well. Guys, let us know you're hearing us loud and clear. That's very important to us. I see Marna Stobie says, I think she's watching from Port Kaituma. Did I get that right? I want to pretend that I saw that. Yes, Marna Stobie says, I'm watching from Port Kaituma.
Oh, lovely.
Good afternoon. And folks, we do have, sorry,
I was going to say that I haven't been to PK in a bit.
Yes,
I need to head up there.
Yeah. On invitation, that is.
No, but actually I did have an invitation to go for other matters. So I'm actually planning a trip to go to PK pretty soon.
On invitation, yes. I'm going to come. Thanks, Marilyn King, for that. Marilyn is our quality controller this afternoon. She says loud and clear. And folks, as we said, we have the one and only, the dynamic Darren Adams out of Region 10. He's going to be co-hosting with us today as well. He didn't just come to give, he's come to give facts and information and all those good stuff, but he's going to be joining us at this end. Darren, good afternoon. Welcome, sir.
Hi, good afternoon, Sharad and Joretta. Thank you for having me here on your program. It's a privilege to be back on your show. And, I'm happy. I hope that listeners will get their pencil out, A short pencil is better than a long memory. And after what we would have heard yesterday, I think we have to, of course, rebuff that.
Of course.
So that people will actually get facts and they will know exactly what has been happening here in Region 10.
All right. Fantastic. We agree with all that you've said. Guys, let us know if you're hearing the regional chairman, the dynamic Darren Adams. Let us know you're hearing him clearly before we get into our substantive discussion and then folks say they can't hear him. Let us know if you're hearing, again, Dritch's words, and I totally agree, the dynamic. We were looking for just the right adjectives.
See, I have a bit of an advantage. I've had the pleasure, the honor of actually doing some work with Darren prior to him being the regional chairman for Region 10, and I can tell you that they don't know him as I know him. They don't know him like I know him.
Great.
Darren he cut from a different cloth.
Everybody said they're hearing the regional chairman. I'm happy about that. Well, you piqued my interest there. You said they don't know him like you know him. So like I want the book or something.
I'm telling you,
I don't want the book now.
Darren is different. Don't let his shirt and tie fool you on any given day.
Darren, treat to get your files, but Mr. Chair, your files out there. And the worst people to get your files is partitions. Kubal, Pusan, Rakan come in. Worst people, the guy files the partition. It's different.
Listen, Darren, I think Darren would agree with me when it comes to the fact that even prior to him being a regional chairman, his advocacy was well known
Yeah.
prior to that, and has walked the walk. You know, he's not somebody that just go out and say what should be done, but he has done it. He has been doing his part
Good.
for quite some
Good.
time. So
Good.
I have to say
It's the
kudos
right
for
man there
that.
then.
That is correct. That's
It's the
why I
right
say,
man.
you know, don't get yourself confused. You know, don't get yourself confused at all out there with who Darren Adams is. You know, a lot of times the office and the the suit and tie could get people carried away, but I think Darren is
Yeah.
always there to ready to go and do whatever it takes
You
to
know, I
represent
think we
his
can
people.
say not everybody in suit and tie is a leader.
That is correct.
And Darren doesn't always wear suit and tie anyhow. But this is the I think Darren is a real deal. Different, dynamic, the man himself.
Yeah.
Right? And we're so glad that he responded to our invitation to be here and to again bring clarity on so many things that are happening. We are grateful. Darren, how are you spending Sunday? How do you spend Sundays?
Man, I am trying to, last night I was out hanging with many of our youths. I was actually reading through some messages when you call,
Uh-huh.
because a lot of young people who are actually messaging me, they were at the gathering yesterday at the Watuka house,
Oh, I thought
and
you
many
mean you
of them
went.
are messaging to say,
Great head.
many of them are messaging me to many of them are messaging me to say, Mr. Chairman, we heard the VP say yesterday that over 150 people are working at the call center.
Mm-hmm.
But sir, can you come and visit the call center tomorrow? Because the last time we checked, about 17 persons would have been left there. Because
Wow.
everyone has over 80% of the people have walked off the work after receiving $2,000 a month.
Mm.
So, I am going through these messages and trying to figure out what 150 young people are working at the call
Mm.
center. It's a sad situation. Persons continue to reach out. So I'm actually spending today going through a lot of messages from young people who are seated under the tent, who are looking at somebody and a group of people who are blatantly lying to them. And I'm trying to figure out a way to compile a report so that I can respond to them. And that's why I'm happy that you allowed me to co-host and to be on your program today, because we're gonna deal with a lot of those issues today.
Excellent. You know, when you said you were out last evening with you, I say you were in the stinking dirty. But you got enough.
No.
You have
Well,
enough having heard.
Sherrod,
Enough things that are
Sherrod,
stinking
Yes.
dirty.
I was just having a hang chilling with the leader, of
Mm-hmm,
course,
mm-hmm,
interacting with youth.
mm-hmm.
And when I got home, actually, I was going through the lyrics for this song that was sung by Skeng Protocol that caused a lot of gunshots and everything.
You have to
Yes.
And
pull out
I'm
your Urban Dictionary for
saddened
that one.
because you're hearing that persons were passing Molly through the crowd, having young people pop in the Molly, and the lyrics of the song, protocol, we have hundreds strapped, Molly get popped, whole place get hot. Why do we want to be exposing our young people to program to
Yeah. To
stuff like
distract
this,
them, from what is really the important issues of the day. To distract them,
right?
no
So
doubt.
I hope I do hope our young people understand that this is a distraction. You want to make a comparison as to the period 2015 to 2020. We say this to you, that we recognize that many of our young people were being distracted by the many
Mm-hmm,
parties. I'm not
mm-hmm,
saying don't enjoy yourself,
mm-hmm,
but we want you to one, and that is why I encourage even during the Linden Tongue Week for young people to become service providers
mm-hmm.
rather than just spending money. I want to see you set up your businesses. I want to see you, become entrepreneurial
Mm-hmm.
pioneers, marketing new products and services in the region. We want to see, and that is why we press the government to activate the Linden Enterprise Network Board. Don't come and just hand out a one-off payment of 200,000. We will tell the people to take it because it's taxpayers' money, it's oil money. But we want to ensure that there's a structured way in which it is done. Set up back the Linden Enterprise Network Board, where the 155 million that was pumped in by the coalition can be circulated. It's a revolving fund. By now, because you would have increased the funds that you can take from the oil money and you have access to it, pump another 300, 400 million into it so that the small businesses can be able to access those loans, um, and be able to empower themselves. We don't want to hear about handouts anymore. We have seen
Yeah.
where handouts, it does nothing for us. While we will take it, it lasts for a week. Now you come and you talk about $40,000 a month when you have fired people from the St. John's Ambulance Brigade. Those were permanent
Yeah.
jobs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You fire people from the Linden Enterprise Network. Those were permanent jobs. And I will get into a lot more of it as we go along in the
Yeah.
program.
You know, I want to remind members of the public of an incident. A couple of years ago, I think it was uh, what do you call it, Deron? You better be able to articulate the election period of the PNCR. It's called the annual Congress. I think you guys were having, and
I
I
think,
think somebody pulled out a gun,
Mhm.
yes. Uh-huh.
and the PP has never forgotten that, right? And what we witnessed over this
Yeah.
weekend was nothing short of mayhem. Thankfully, you got the advent of technology and smartphones and so on, and you were able to see that event from all angles or from many angles.
Yes. Yeah.
And from every angle
Yeah.
we saw was an absolute breakdown of law and order and mayhem. You know, at one point I'm hearing
Yeah.
such rapid gunfire. I actually thought we were in some part of the Ukraine with the war with the Russians, right? And I'm certain after hearing what transpired, the Venezuelans will think twice before attempting anything here because he would know that these people here are easy. I thought it was Ukraine when I heard some of that.
Wow. You know, Sarah, it's unfortunate that young people can have um, easy access to
Yeah.
these guns, firearms, that they are able to pass into that facility without being checked.
Yeah.
I'm being told that this particular song, when you look at the lyrics, it's most unfortunate. And I saw that for a whole PR stunt, you see the police commissioner calling together the
Oh,
promoters to say
yes.
what? They know
Oh,
exactly what
yes.
was happening,
Oh, yes. Right? Which
right?
brought me to ask the question, just like you as a citizen, you asked now, if you were saying we're going to have these new measures for the things going forward, what measures were in place last night? Darren, you know, if you have a little get
Yeah.
together by your house, the hoops you got for jump through, to get a little get together by yours, how people can have in these events which attract, you know, a large number of persons? Um, you know, you just could walk off the road and just walk in. And then we saw some information out of newsroom, which on the off day does some good journalism, suggesting that the minister of health was saying that we have a very um, strong, let me get the words correctly, strain of the COVID-19 circulating recently. When you juxtapose that with the thousands who were gathered at the National Stadium, you know, he said, at least the header out of newsroom said, more transmissible variant of COVID-19 circulating here. And that was yesterday.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, how, I don't know, it boggles the
no,
mind.
Yeah.
but I think we need to address the fact a little bit more because
Mhm.
we've been doing it for quite some time with with the obvious disconnect between the Minister of Health and what's going on the ground. I think there's not something for us to brush aside because it appears to me, and I've been saying this for quite some time, that the Minister of Health, he always speaks after the fact. Every
Mhm.
single thing he says is after the fact.
Yeah.
There are permissions given to events and so forth, and then after the fact, when it has all been done, he comes and say and gives these bright announcements and so forth. So there's a lot of measures that are being relaxed and all of those things. But
I
apparently,
think
he's not a part of.
Frank popping the Molly.
Well, I don't even know
I think
how you
so.
do that,
I
but
think Frank Sugar down.
so
Oh
no,
boy.
but we have to let me tell you something because as a youth representative myself, I have to say, persons or young people must have activities to partake in, and it must not only be an option for them to participate in negative
Yeah.
activities.
Yeah.
You need positive things out there for them to
Yeah.
be a part of. Young people are bursting with energy and all of those things, and they're very creative. Our issue that I always see here is that we tend to, the young people, the Guyanese in the whole, tend to gravitate to cultures that are not our own. So
Yeah.
we don't have this identity. So whatever is trending, some other culture, it's easy for it to rub off on persons and go after it and so forth. But I have a bigger concern when it comes to what role the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports is actually playing in this. And I'm going to ask a question. What monies, if any, was spent directly towards these things, because it is no way can be acceptable that any bit of taxpayers' dollars can go towards promoting anything that is negative to our youth altogether in this country. But I'm most interested about that because I did hear one of the promoters or organizer, however you say it, did give a shout out to the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports. And it begs the question as to what involvement the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports have in an activity that is promoting the use of illicit drugs. So taxpayers' dollars being
Yeah.
pushed towards that initiative. So that is where my concern is on that front. But when it comes to young people having an activity to young people are looking for recognition, they're looking for identity, and they are gravitating towards whatever is out there influencing them. And we need to have positive things out there influencing them just the same. We can't just discard of young people and say, well, oh, this generation, this, I'm not in agreement with that at all of them, and I see them all the time, and they have a very solid place in our society, and we need to take stock of them and make sure that we do our part to make sure that they have positive entertainment going out there. It must not be as it was there. So I do see, I want to make note of the point that I just saw a report coming out of HGP and also from mostly media about the, as they call it, stink and dirty, the Juve. And I think that what they sought to do there was to put more security mechanisms in place so persons can go out and party and have some bit of fun without the risk of what happened at the botheration, as it was termed, event. And I saw that they actually had, I think, one gun, several knives, and a whole host of scissors.
Yeah, at
What
one point
appears
I
to
said,
be on, I thought
there
it was
are,
an art and craft
there are.
duvet.
I says a lot of tailors, you got among the scissors and seamstresses, among the knives, I says the abattoir, people think they're going, it's me, they're going to cut them.
Listen, but you can look at it and but you
Wow.
have to think about it. The
Yeah.
fact that somebody is going there, they're going there with a perception that they're going to an event that have a high probability of violence,
But
right? So
Darren,
they
how
so
could
they are
people,
equipping themselves to
how
to
could,
Yeah.
to to combat with what they are expecting at this
it's
event.
what are they expecting out there?
That is
Darren,
what
how
they're
could people go to an
expecting.
event and I seen video footage where people are being robbed? Like I don't understand where we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Where are we, right? And a number of implications there. That has
But
implications for a man who is vying to be commissioner of police. This is an event that the police got to sign off on. And people are being robbed like
yeah.
nothing, right? I made one statement
Yeah.
on social media. I'm in a court. I hear people talking, but I see people post up with the phone on TikTok that they're claiming to rob people and Paris and that. It's what country we living in 18 short months.
Yeah.
They're on. I mean, what is
We
Yeah,
happening?
slip.
it's the
We
breakdown of
slip.
the morals
Yeah.
altogether. Yes, Darren.
Yeah. We've slipped back. We slipped back into lawlessness.
Wow.
Um. So
Wow.
it's just a sad. It's just a sad situation. And
Wow.
if indeed you had DJs who are on stage pumping the crowd up to pass the sugar through, pass the sugar, take a sample, and encouraging young people, we've hit a new low. That's as much as I would say.
Wow. 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 What a place. What a place we're living in. Thanks to them boys. And um, it's a strange place. And that's why we say to people, democracy is not just about elections. You know, democracy cannot just be about elections because this country here, as you said, Deron, it's slipping back.
Yeah.
It's slipping
Yeah.
back, and everything we see
Yeah.
suggests that them boys won't go back to that pre-2015 era. That pre-2015 era. The
Yeah.
breakdown of law and order, with decadence and decay. What's the thing of the day? It's madness. I see Vesta
Yeah.
Hardy, Rajkumar saying they were going to a sewing class among the scissors they had out there, right? It is just is
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you juxtapose, and I will say this, I I have no qualms about it. You got people who want to hold some decent events at the cultural center, right? And they're being given all kinds of hurdles and hoops to jump over and to jump through to hold some fairly decent events. The price gone up. You know, I mean, what is the penalty when you hold an event where people are robbed and guns are fired indiscriminately and all of it? What's your penalty? Does the fee rental go up higher the next time? I mean, what's happening in this? I don't understand it. It's like madness on every front, right? And then we come to Linden because Darren, you've articulated for us that for quite some time now, Region 10 and Linden has been under tremendous assault. Tremendous
Yes.
assault. Region 10. And people want to come and give a handout, as the commentators phrase it, band-aids of hampers and handouts. They come and give a couple things and they feel as though they own you now, right? And you can talk out of turn. That is why I celebrate what Londoners did when that disrespectful Colin Crowell decided he was going to go and he wanted to give the feature address for the Linden flag raising.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disrespectful. I celebrate what the people do. Protested his presentation, start and presentation and presence, start to
Yeah.
finish. We need more of that. We need more of that. You know, you come and you give some little 250 small um, business grants. You give, sorry, I may be in the wrong place. 800 part-time jobs. Yeah, 250 small business grant. You know, you talk about setting little internet costs and you think, does it? Right? Where have you gone beyond
Yeah.
what
So, but let
any
me.
ordinary government should do? Talk to us, Darren. Talk to us.
Yeah. Let me speak. Yeah. Let me speak to. Let me speak to the independence celebration there, where they attempted to hijack the activity, and where instructions came from Georgetown to, with specific instructions, I should say, that the mayor and the members of parliament should not speak on the program. If you check the original program that was created by the commemoration committee, all of our elected officials in the order of rank was scheduled to speak. What they did, and because they instructed and they asked that the REO would have requested to chair the program, they changed um, that program up, remove the mayor's name, remove the member of parliament name. When I was called to speak, I, after, because people were protesting, immediately when I finished giving my address, I took the microphone and I took it to the mayor. And I said, Madam Mayor, you will deliver. One, I asked that she, because of what was happening, I would, and she sings, she has a beautiful voice. I said, I would like for you to sing a song for us and to also, as the custodian of this town, give your address. And the REO went on. He attempted to not recognize that. And the people started protesting. And then Madam Mayor came up and she spoke. What is important to note as well, and I know many people missed it, is that when we were taking the salute, I noticed the REO stepped up on the dais in the slot where the mayor was supposed to be standing.
Wow.
Now, he is a public servant.
He has no
He
business
should
there.
not have been there standing to take the salute. I don't know how he got up there, but this is the disrespect that is happening here
Yeah,
in Region
yeah,
10. And of
yeah.
course, as you mentioned, they sent the very minister that ordered innocent single mothers on Mother's Day. They pushed their houses down. And he is the minister that they sent to this region. And that is why the very people at Amelia's ward who they claim they solved the problem with, those were the people who were there protesting him.
Wow.
Right? Those were the people who were
Wow.
there protesting him.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm happy that the people stood their ground. They sent a message. And I can say this to you that it will never happen again in this region. As long as I am regional chairman, the mayor and all elected officials for this region will give their presentation when there's a national activity.
Yeah. Or there will be no presentations. Full stop. Full stop. Full stop.
I think we need to look a whole lot more as to what is going on in the regions that the coalition won, especially when it comes to region 10 and region 7. I could speak specifically also to region 7, in which exactly what is playing out there in region 10 is the same thing that the PPP is doing in region 7 as well, when they are utilizing the office of the REO to basically overrun every aspect of local democracy, and to replace the functions and functionalities of elected officials within the region. And that is something that they're trying desperately to do, because they want to make sure that even in those regions that the people said, we don't want you. That's what was said in the election. The people in those regions said, we don't want the PPP. And they're trying to install themselves and force themselves, just railroad the entire process and system on all the elected officials to make sure that they put their persons that the people have no business with, people don't want to hear from, to be the ones controlling what goes on in those regions, because they want, and I just want to be able to point again, they want at the end of it, they must say, oh, you elected this person, but they weren't doing anything, when they are shackling the arms of these elected officials, when they are railroading and pushing them aside and all sorts of things. They are doing it because they intend to go and say that, what did this elected person do for you? So that is the recognition people need to have from now. That's why the pushback is absolutely necessary. So I'm glad the representatives in Region 10 did what they did, and they protested and they said, these are the people that we elected, these are the people that we want to hear from. So kudos to the residents of Region 10 for that move.
And they're on to show how disrespectful these guys are. They just want to make a point. It's just wickedness and facetiousness in a sense, if you think about it, that when you had all of these band-aids of hampers and handouts, Region 4 seemed to not be on the list, right? But Region 10, they want to make a point because they got some dastardly intentions for Region 10. And so you had an outreach and promises that were made there quite recently, and the two weeks before you got a job turned into a month and a half, and now they've gone back and they gave out some trinkets, and people think, right? Them boys suddenly change and the heart get good now. Talk to us about the nonsense that took place yesterday when Papa Jagabat was in the region there. Mr. Chairman? He may have stepped away for a second or two. Yeah.
So
No,
can
he's
you hear me
there.
clear? Because we're having downpour here, heavy rainfall.
I am hearing you.
Can you hear me?
We are hearing you.
Sharad,
We're hearing you, Chief.
Sharad, are you hearing me clear?
Yes,
Clearly.
we are.
All right, so we're having a downpour here, and it's but I hope we don't get disconnected. So let me say this. Yesterday, so we had the VP come in, and I want to again say to people, let me make this point here, that I encourage people to take advantage of the temporary jobs. It is funded by your oil money or your tax dollars. So I will never tell you that I'm not in support of that. What I said is that I would have preferred permanent jobs like what was had under the APNU plus AFC government. Now, the people of Guyana and Region 10 need to know the facts. Many of your very citizens living in Region 10 were fired from the National Data Management Agency. If you do the maths based on the salary they were getting, over a period, it's close to 96 million, close to 100 million has been removed from the economy here in Linden. The Charles Rose School of Nursing has been suspended. They are doing the nursing program in regions 1 to 9, and they have suspended the program in region 10. Those were permanent jobs for the first
Right.
time. This is despite many of our nurses are moving to the UK for greener pastures.
Yeah.
So that is fact. And when you train as a nurse, you don't necessarily have to remain in Region 10. You can go work in Georgetown, you can go work in Region 2, wherever. So don't let them fool you. They could have trained the nurses here in Region 10 and allow them to go work in Region 4. But they are targeting the region strategically. The Bertram Collins College of the Public Service, where many young people were employed, they closed it down and sent home all of the staff. The Guyana Water Incorporated, many people, you saw Sheikh Box boasting
Yeah.
that he is now making money because he
Yeah.
fired over 300 employees.
Wicked.
Many of the GWI staff in Region 10 formed part of that list, unfortunately. Young women, we're over 60 that are employed in the and were able to provide families that they are sending people that program. I have letters where persons are sending me saying that they were removed. The St. John's Ambulance Brigade that was around for over 50 years, they have not renewed the contract there. So they sent home those people. You saw them protesting with their children in front of the RDC. The Linden Enterprise Network, which received the funding under the coalition of 150 million. Their staff has not been paid for over 4 months now. Many of them, because of frustration, would have walked off the job. So that is in chaos. The CIIP program that was under the town council, they closed the program down, sent home all the people who used to be doing projects under that program.
Wow.
And then they opened it up back under the IDC and started to employ friends and cronies of the party, the PPP. All this is happening while 70% of all contracts go to folks outside of the region. Now, they will want you to believe that, yes, fine, the tender process indicates that you have to have your equipment, you have to have your excavator, your grader, your roller, and everything. But we had to flag a project, we had to flag an issue where the regional executive officer was loaning to contractors the IDC's grader and roller to friends of the PPP when they won the contract. This is despite them indicating on the tender document that they had these equipment.
Yes.
So they were lying all along, and now the grader has broken down, and no one, he can't repair it because there's no funds to do that. And the contractors that he loaned it to, they just made their money, did substandard work, and left. They boast of all the roads that will be done. Let me tell you this. 5 or 6 months ago, Edgel was in Linden here to commission the road along Casarina Drive at the hospital. Residents of Region 10 take a drive there. Potholes have already started to come. The roads that were built under the coalition government are still standing.
Yep.
And roads that were built 5 months ago have already started to deteriorate.
Yep.
They took a house that they held the meeting at yesterday. Ask them why they never pumped money into upgrades.
They should be ashamed to go there.
It was under the coalition. It had lost. It was under the coalition that monies were made available through NISL, and that place was upgraded, and the boardwalk was built there, and the swimming pool and everything was upgraded. It was neglected. It was lost all structural integrity. Because why? They were targeting this region strategically and intentionally. I want to speak, and I'm glad that David Patterson spoke of the UK road project, because they want to give the impression as though they are the ones who were pushing ahead with this project. Let me give you the facts. The PPP track record, Sherrod, since returning to office, and of course through the infamous installation, has been marked in Region 10 by protest action, strike action, loss of jobs, hopelessness, rising cost of living, and the regression of several policies and projects that had Londoners well on their way to a better life during the period 2015 to 2020. In 2019, this government informed the UKCIF, that's the United Kingdom Caribbean Infrastructure Partnership Fund, and the Caribbean Development Bank that the Linden to Mabura Road project was not a priority project for their party, and if they were successful in the upcoming election, they would have cancelled the project. The response by the UK was unequivocal. If you cancel this project, we will cancel our funding. Have you heard any member of the current government rebut what David Patterson said? Because they would not, because there's records to show that what David Patterson was saying was the truth. This government never wanted the road from Linden to let them to be constructed. They had 23 years to do it, they didn't do it. It's when the coalition got into office, they did the feasibility study. They removed the Mackenzie Lismore Bridge as a priority project. And now they're saying, after pressure from the UK and of course other external agencies, that they will now put it back in the budget. Well, we welcome it. We welcome it. The people of Linden should have asked yesterday why, when hundreds of hampers come to the region, they are left to spoil at the bottom houses of a PPP activist who lives on Greenard Street. That is what they should have asked yesterday. Right?
Yeah.
They're paying, he is the prime minister rep receiving a salary and is afforded a contract of $1 million a month to store gloves and face masks when the Bamia Health Center compound has enough space for them to construct a bond and save and direct this money to some other area. But they are creating a slush fund for the boys, right? Over 70% of the contracts, as I indicated, went to friends and family. Contracts for the weeding of the Linden Suicide Highway road shoulders. At Bamia, the people complain. They see strangers coming into the region, weeding the ends to the road. People from Region 3 and Region 6. Why aren't Lindeners getting these jobs, right? They slashed the salaries of our nurses who protested Rudy Small from 110,000 to 300 Guyana dollars.
Wow.
Unconscionable.
Wicked.
Rudy Small was fired by the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Health and was reinstated by a political somebody higher within 24 hours. That is what the people want to know. Nurses, doctors, the ancillary administrative staff, and other employees of the Linden Hospital Complex would have been locked out from the compound for failing to produce a COVID-19 vaccination card. It occurred at the Upper Demerara Hospital and Kokwani Hospital, right? Healthcare centers across the region, the same thing. And so, ask why those persons' salaries were cut. You're talking about jobs and whatever, right? So don't be fooled. They have terminated the contracts of long-standing employees who were attached to the Linden Hospital Complex, and they are now outsourcing all the jobs to companies aligned to the PPP. The mechanics, the AC man, everybody coming from Georgetown to work in Linden. So these are things that people need to know. 2 years after, 80% of the works that were completed under the coalition of the synthetic track at Bayrock, the project is still not a priority for this government. Right? They dismantle, as I said, the highly professional Bertram Collins Public Service.
Yeah.
And we now have an increase in trafficking in person, illicit drugs in our schools, and you know, popping a Mali among our youths. That's what they're promoting. So people need to be cognizant of all of this. You talk about 10,000 cash grants for children, but I remember listening to a parliamentary session where Russell Trotman found the cabinet document where it's clearly indicated that it was Dr. Roger Luncheon who informed Priya Manichan that it was no longer sustainable. It wasn't the coalition who said that. Russell Trotman held the cabinet document up in Parliament where Dr. Roger Luncheon said to Priya Manichan that they were not going to be able to continue this 10,000 cash grant. So people need not be fooled. What we did instead, we set up the 5Bs program.
Facts.
Boats, bicycles, book, breakfast. Ask them why they have not continued those programs.
Well, actually,
Because
Darren, if you check, I want to interject at that point right there. If you do check right now, they have gone to the regions that they consider their strongholds. And the people, when those programs were discontinued, people complained bitterly to them. So now you will see them going and saying that, oh, they're commissioning boats to transport the school children free, and they're putting buses to transport the school children free. The exact programs they are sneakishly, silently trying to put back into their strong, because the People are demanding it now. The same thing that they condemn, criticize, they are forced now by
Yeah,
their own
exactly.
constituencies to put it back because it was good. And people can't understand that.
Yeah, yeah. So don't be fooled. A one-off payment of 10,000 could never beat every day you're saving close to $15,000, or every month, sorry, you're saving $15,000 per child in terms of transportation, breakfast, and other things. So don't be fooled. The handling of the COVID-19 cash grant in this region is probably the greatest manifestation, Sherrod, of the discriminatory practices of the regime. In other regions controlled by the PPP, people get their assistance by just the provision of the ID card. When it came here, I was in Kansas City same time when the cash grant was being distributed. They're asking the people for land. They got to show title. They got to show all kind documents to access the COVID-19 cash grant. So don't be fooled.
And in
You've
their
seen last night
regions,
the shooting that occurred in the national stadium, I think, or was that
national
wherever it was.
national
They're
park.
now politicizing the police force. So Guyana is returning to a state of lawlessness. That is a fact. People shooting up the gun in the air, popping Mali, being encouraged to do those nonsense. So they continue to use violence, division, political patronage, and the instilling of fear in the populace to maintain control. That is their only means. And so our people must stand against it. You heard me speak of domination and control of the RDC and the Lynn and Main Town Council, where people in areas, for example, like Region 10, where the people rejected them. You were saying a region that was won by the coalition that the mayor must not speak or the
Nonsense.
member of parliament.
Hmm.
So that is something that people need to understand clearly and not be fooled, right?
Correct.
By the action. In agriculture, a mere $9 million was budgeted for an agro-processing facility in Linden. You know how much was budgeted for the same facility at Enmore? A PPP support there, 7.3 billion. Look at the comparison. 9 million for Region 10, but 7.3 billion. Now, agriculture we know holds great potential to create jobs. Of course, we can't go to it through the traditional sense. We have to incorporate ICT to attract young people and so on. Why aren't you pumping money into investing? I went to the Barbies River. The people complain that the watermelon, the Edo spoiling on the hand. We pumped over 300 million into the farm to market road from Millie's Hideout to the Barbies River there at Ibini and Kimbio. They have slashed that project from the budget. They're no longer continuing that road because why? They know that if you continue to have to depend on them for food, it's an issue there. 70% of our food we import into the region. Why aren't you empowering the agriculture sector and giving people the opportunity to take charge of their own lives? In just 6 months.
And I see
You would have seen
a headline in Chronicle talking about
Go ahead.
empowering Linden. You empowering where? Where?
Laughable. Wow.
Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, so we see how look at you want to give an example. Poor management of the COVID-19 situation. COVID started when we were still in office, while APNU. We had flattened the curve, Sherrod, and we had a plan in place. They mocked the hospital there at Liliandal, Stark and thing. The same hospital that to fall back on. But look at it. Under this administration, Guyana has now recorded over 1,232 deaths. You understand? Little or no PPE gears or medication at health facilities. You want to take a walk through the Linden Hospital complex and see what's going on there? Patients are suffering. While this government found 95 million to purchase new vehicles for themselves. They didn't want driving the vehicle with the previous government driving.
Priorities mix up.
You look at our senior citizens. They instructed their administrators to take control of an area, a building called the Linden Darfur Home that was refurbished by the coalition, right? It was rehabilitated by APNU in 2019. And it was handed over to the senior citizens in the region. These people went, throw all the people art and craft out, the senior citizens, the stuff, the knitting and everything. And then tell the people that they want to turn this facility into a quarantine facility. The people, of course, rejected it, right? You have seen they have taken forever. In fact, they will never do it apparently to set up a board at the Linden Hospital complex that can have other members holding Rudy Small accountable. So he is there to unilaterally make decisions, um, to hurt the health sector. Now, this man lived in the US. We thought that when he was given an opportunity to be CEO, he would have brought high-end technology to the hospital, bring training for MRI machine and CT scans. And don't be fooled. Yes, the hospital was built in 2009. Ask why only when the coalition got into office, you actually had services being established here, like dialysis center, the eye clinic. Why only then? It was empty from the period that it was built. So we had a plan in place, but he is operating there without a board, and the only thing that he could have thought of was to bring a time machine to monitor who comes in, what time they left, and if they meet the work early, cut their salary. Running the hospital like if it was a private enterprise, a private facility, he's running. So they don't have your interest at heart. Don't be fooled. As I understand and I explained to you, many of the young people, they boast that 150 young people are employed at Midas BPO at the call center. It is alleged, Sherrod, and I want to do a walkthrough, that there are only 17 young people who have remained there. In fact, many of the young people were sitting at Utuko House yesterday listening and smiling under the mask because they know that nobody really in the call center. Because the CEO for Go Invest came on NCN and lied. But how the young people are being paid between $80,000 and $95,000 at the call center. Nothing at the sort. Nothing at the sort.
Wow.
So they boast of having trained 184 persons through the Board of Industrial Training. But after you finish the training, what happens next? And that is what I mentioned. Under the coalition, there was always a process of continuity. So the First Lady Sandra Grainer trained over 120 people in ICT, and then they transitioned and were working at the National Data Management Agency. While Lawrence trained people in patient care assistant program, and she created a PCA program in the hospitals for them to be employed. Where are we putting these 184 people that just get trained? That is all we ask. You can't come and bluff people no more. You have to have a plan to employ them. But their plan is to stifle this region, whether it's in the health sector, the agriculture sector, the education sector. If you see images of multi-school, I don't even want to post it. Post it on Facebook. People wires are hanging and students and teachers are getting shocked. And a blackboard with the whole middle come out is what the teachers got to be writing on. So don't be fooled, Londoners. Their aim is to dominate and control and to stifle us. Those projects, every project that you see being executed right now, are all projects that were conceptualized under the APNUAFC, the Mabura Road project, and many other projects that you're seeing that are executing right now. The synthetic track that is still in one complete are all coalition projects. The Bamia Health Center, the Bamia Nursery School, the Bamia Primary School, the Blueberial Health Center. These are all coalition projects. I can show you the documents from the revised or the proposed budget in 2018 and 2019, where all of these projects were listed there. Lights going to Bamia is coalition do it in 2016. So don't be fooled.
Exactly.
Right? Don't
Exactly.
be fooled. So I say to people, we will continue to give you the facts. And so you must understand, if you don't remember anything else, understand that Linden and Region 10 is facing the brunt of discrimination, marginalization by this administration. And we are being starved of resources, right? And it's something that needs to be highlighted and exposed, and people should not. They talk about what the PNC did or what the coalition did, but the PNC back then, we built the Linden Suzac Highway. The Harbor Bridge that you're still crossing today is a PNC project by Bornum. The MMA project, the Culture Center, all of these things happen under Forbes Bornum.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we need to let young people know the multilateral schools were all built under Forbes Bornum, right? Food, feed, clothes, and house yourself. That's not nothing new,
Correct, correct. They try to reinvent it
right?
with,
But they're good. They're good at cutting ribbon
yeah,
And rebranding things,
yeah,
they
yeah.
shocking
Grow
as
and
more,
rebranding thing.
grow more, and so on. It's not food, clothing, housing. It's just grow more now.
yeah, there's grow too, it's not night school anymore, it's grow now, but there's a bright idea that they have after rebranding something that started under the coalition
Pack of
government.
thieves, if you ask me. They call it
Yeah,
one
yeah,
Guyana.
yeah.
Pack of thieves, And there on while people are, I heard you say it earlier on when we were talking about these big events are happening. You want spending money in that regard, you got to know if you want to put food on your table or you can go and party, right? And I would love to see people go out with the same
Yeah.
energy to get registered,
Yeah.
because we're in the period of
Yeah.
we call it continuous registration period,
Well, it should be ending now.
right? Not house to house. So when you open your window, you see some
Yeah.
jackass outside, you could chase them, because not house to house registration, because we made to understand a lot of strange people moving around the place saying that they're from GCOM, but
Yeah.
GCOM has said they're not doing house to house. This is continuous. You got to go to a center near you. You got to go to a GCOM office near you.
Because what they have been doing, and we've been talking about this quite a lot too, what they've been doing is going to the coalition areas and knocking on your door and saying that they're registering you. So that gives you the impression you have no need to go to the actual GCOM office to get registered, and that's not the case. That is as dirty as the politics get from the PPP.
Yes, it's a kind of wickedness. And we're being made to understand that the registration for District 10, Upper Demerara, Burbage region, that is being done at a number of registration areas. You have with the registration
Yeah.
office and sub office is, I
Yeah.
see here, Mackenzie Registration Office, 49 Republic Avenue, Mackenzie, Linden.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. Let me just pull up that information so that I can
Yes, so people got to get registered. Go after
uh
being registered with the same fierceness, with the same enthusiasm, like you go after these other things, and it's free. You ain't got to pay, right? Even better, go and get registered
yeah.
so
So
you can make a difference in your own future.
yeah.
Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah. So let me just inform the residents on Wisma that, of course, they can go at the Wisma Christianberg Secondary from 9 to 4. On Yeah, and then they have also the Harmony Secondary School, the New Silver City Secondary School, Wisborg Secondary School. They're in Wisrock, and of course at the Mackenzie office here on Republic Avenue. Right, those are the offices that they can go out and get registered.
Yep. Fantastic. I see. And folks, go out there, get registered, take an interest in your own future, right? Take an interest in your own empowerment. Go out there and get registered. You got people who could party every day of the week. They ain't got a birth certificate. They ain't got an ID card. They ain't got a passport, right? And then you're gonna be complaining
Yeah,
the rest of the week about not having enough food on your table, right? And bothering your relatives in the US for
yep,
remittances, right? You want party, that's your business, right? But don't row when you see things going a certain way, because you got to be more active than you are currently.
yeah.
So
I
that's
want
happening. Go
I
right
want
ahead, sir.
our people to I want our people to wake up, because while they encourage you to come out and party and drink and get distracted and you buy a bottle of Hennessy and whatever, you drive through other areas, other communities, Londoners, and they are asleep and they are planning and they are finding ways to engage banks and the small business bureau to get loans for their businesses. I want you to remain focused.
Yeah, and
Under
fighting
us,
down
under the coalition
and fighting
government,
down the public service credit union that are available to poor people while you're out partying.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You see what is happening with the public service credit union.
Yeah.
You have to remain woke. I think there's a different, it's wrong. But under us, for example, Sherrod, when you're talking about job creation, as I said, it has to be a well-structured program and not just a flippant handout. We had what was referred to as the Sustainable Livelihood and Entrepreneur Development.
Mm-hmm.
And communities in Linden benefited from funding for their business ideas. I know of here salons that receive funding at Buck Hill. Block making factories were constructed at Blueberial, Kamaka, Siberia, right? Shade house projects at Spikeland, chicken rearing project at West Watuka.
Stay woke.
Millions of dollars have been expended on these social programs, benefiting residents all across Region 10. So don't be fooled. Employment also comes through decentralized services. And that is why we ensure that the magistrate court was built at Kokwani and at Linden. That is why we ensure that the passport office was built at Retrieve. And we created employment for people. You don't have to run to Georgetown to line up 3 o'clock outside Camp Street and stand up in the
Aye.
cow pen like on your rain wetting
Aye.
you,
And
right?
I think, and
So,
Deron, you can bear us out here. I think there was also some subsidizing of costs and also a facility for dialysis patients at Linden.
yeah, right at the Linden Hospital complex. We put in the machinery there and a contract. They took over a year to award a contract. But finally, we're getting that. They talk about the call center. It was the coalition who refurbished the call center to 100 at a tune of 116 million in 2019. Not the PPP government. They just came and cut the ribbon. So don't
That's
be
what they're famous
fooling
for
with us,
doing.
right?
Much the same of what I saw
So,
recently. We saw them. You mash up the boat service from Rosignol to New Amsterdam that the coalition had in place, and then you bring back one under a different name, and you want kudos and
Yeah, that's correct.
you
I was
yeah,
know,
just speaking about
Marlon.
that.
So
I was just speaking about that.
you know,
yeah.
it's madness.
They don't have a
So
single
people
original ID.
people need to know. Yeah, people need to be cognizant of this. For years, the people in the Barbies River were asking for a water ambulance so that patients, people who got to go to either the New Amsterdam Hospital or the Kokwani Hospital, if they're living at Weruni or Kimbia, can have access. They never listened to the people. It was the coalition who came in and delivered a water ambulance to both the Berbice River and the Demerara River at Malali. Barnum Drive received lights and the Winifred Gaskin Highway to a tune of 13 million under the coalition. The new RDC building they took out of the budget started under the coalition. So the new police station which was constructed at Mackenzie for 117 million, and the other one that they recently commissioned at Wismore were all coalition projects. Don't be fooled, right? The Ituni people login concessions were approved for Ituni. Over 13,000 tags were issued by the Guyana Forestry Commission under Raphael Trotman to Ituni. Ask Ituni how many tags they get over the past 2 years, right? 24-hour electricity went to Kokwani for the first time, and the Prime Minister just went and cut the ribbon. But the initiators of these projects were done by the coalition, and people need to know these things. The young professional homes and so on were all projects that were done. They're just continuing the projects that were started. Why wasn't these things done pre-2015?
The thing is about it,
And that is what the
Darren,
people of Linden need to ask themselves.
that is correct. And then if you were to look, it's all across the country, even in areas that they consider their strongholds, like Region 2, for example. MP Sherwin Holder had to put the facts out there when the newspaper headlines read that the police station there was being commissioned, and they said it is a vision under the Ali administration. Sherwin's like, no, hold up, you came and reached this building practically completed. You took 2 years before you could get it to this point of opening, and you say what? That's your vision? Seriously? But this is what they continue to do.
Sherrod, young people got to be able to, of course, if you want to put aside the politics, just look and see which party had your social and economic interests at heart. It was under Aubrey Norton's leadership that won the Linden Music Corps, the band that you see playing when we have March Past and so on. That those young people received those instruments. This is before Aubrey became leader of the opposition or leader of the party. It was under Norton that the coalition constructed an early childhood development center there at 1 Mile, 40 million. So ask them why the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture sent through a text message telling the Linden Music Corps that they will no longer be able to fund them. And it was after we went public with it, they pulled back on it.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the condition of the Watuka, you look at the condition of the Watuka guest house before 2015, and even the guest house at Kokwani, 131 million, the same venue that they held the meeting yesterday, 131 million was executed on both the guest house at Linden and Kokwani, and it was outfitted with a boardwalk. Why wasn't that done? Local government elections, for 20 years we were denied, right? Over 200 youths benefited from the Citizen Security Strengthening Program with support from the IDB. Why are all those things shut down? Lyshas Hall was rehabilitated under the coalition. Why was Lyshas Hall not given funding?
Yeah.
That's where we
Here
hold
things
our
you're talking
concerts
about
and
it,
so on,
Deron. Them boys got
right?
4 projects they thinking and talking about empowering Linden. What nonsense you talking? Huh?
Right? So people need to understand it was under the coalition that 10 indigenous villages and the 2 shows received access to internet and tablets to communicate. Ask them why they didn't upgrade it if they love the Amerindians so bad. The community of Spikeland was given permanent ownership of the playfield. This is an area that I like running.
Correct.
Right? They were deprived this playfield under the PPP, but they got it under the coalition.
Correct.
The coalition constructed a bridge at Spikeland to ensure that residents had easy access to their farmland. Right? Rockstone received an ambulance and a minibus to transport the students and residents. Why all of these things never happened pre-2015? They like to talk about VAT and who put VAT on agriculture stuff and who put VAT. But who brought VAT to Guyana?
Them boys.
Who was the first party that brought VAT to Guyana? We reduced the VAT
Them
when they
boys.
brought it in at 16%. The coalition dropped it to 14%. These are facts. People need to know this. Under the coalition, water troughs were constructed at schools across the region and in other communities so that our children can have access to potable water.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So don't be fooled. Don't listen to the lies. The coalition commenced the construction of the Linden Technical Institute dormitory to accommodate students coming from Rockstone, the Barbies River, Aichuni, and Kokwani. Ask why that project has been stymied 2 years into government. We started it, right? So I don't understand when they say people didn't do nothing. Over 170 schools receive internet connectivity. Most of the schools in Region 10 were already connected to the internet for the first time under the coalition. Right? 20 ICT hubs. Over 20 ICT hubs were established here in Region 10. The multipurpose building at Block 22 that was neglected for years was refurbished under the coalition.
Wickedness.
There
So I can say.
and hold classes.
Wickedness.
Right? So don't let us not be fooled. There's so many other things that I can mention. The 300,000 acres of land that would have been opened up in the intermediate savannas there at Millie's Hideout. They have taken that project off of the front burner, and so we hope that they will put it on back. Right? Shade houses in 2019, when we brought that in, several schools, secondary schools, received shade houses to boost agriculture and to encourage agriculture at the school level. I don't believe all of those things are continuing now. Why? Why all of those things have been suspended? So we're going to push from the regional level, of course, to put them back in the budget. Of course, you know of the minimum wage that was increased from 35,000 to 70,000.
Deron, you are doing great work on the ground there with the team. And we want you guys to continue to press forward. I'm happy to hear you say that never again you can have a national event and people on the ground there can't speak because PP feel some nonsense. Foolishness. We can continue to do what we have to do. And we can continue to support the work you guys are doing on the ground there as well. We can have you back because we can't begin to exhaust what's happening there, what has been done, and what these fools trying to kerfuffle people.
Yes.
and talk nonsense.
Right. But people need to go and see for themselves. Don't believe me. If you don't want to believe me, I should say, go yourself. Go and see what's happening at Len. Go and see how many people employed, how many people turning up to work at the call center. Go tomorrow morning. Go yourself and see if you don't believe me, right? And you will see what is happening. Go at the Linden Hospital complex. Go and ask for a particular drug at one of the health centers or medication, right? Go and see what is happening for yourself. Do not just take things and have people come and feed you with a lot of nonsense.
Correct.
And the reality on the ground is somewhat is totally different,
Rightly
right?
said.
We are
Rightly
being
said.
targeted, but we will continue to make the representation to push through. We would have written an ask for fire tenders for Kokwani. I'm not, while I'm happy that a fire tender was sent, it is not a new one, but you know what? We're going to just bear we chafe until the coalition gets back into office.
That's right.
Should be
Because
very, very soon.
we have learned in all the worst ways that a fire tender can only work good with proper roads. So,
Yes,
you need proper roads,
exactly.
fire tenders to work properly too. Darren, thanks for spending this time with us as a co-host in our program today with Jurita. We are so happy when you always stop by. The folks, I think, have gotten accustomed to you, and we definitely need to have you around more often. You're becoming a feature, a staple on this program. So prepare for that. Please and thank you. Please and thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
All right, Chief. Thanks for joining us today, and have a great rest of your Sunday.
Good. Yes, you too. All right.
Folks, that's our time. That's our time today at Soaring on the Bell. Ping, 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 ping. Jurida, we see Edwin Warren is here. Lots of stuff happening, folks. Lots of stuff happening and lots of information we think you guys ought to have as well. Loretta Argyle, we see you, and Gwyneth Anderson, all the usual suspects. Marilyn Lorimer is here as well. Yep.
I've been following in the comment section. I'm very, very interested in conversation going on in the comment section. Some people still have their heads in the sand. We have some
I hope they keep it there for a long time,
regular folks that have their head in the sand.
Wait,
comes
if
with
too
an
long,
agenda.
things should happen. Keep it right there.
But there's one thing, and I always keep repeating it, is that you can't dispute the facts.
Yeah.
The facts are not there to be disputed. There's a lot of things that persons would like to see. A lot of disinformation has been peddled around altogether, and I think it is good that persons are confronting it. And I'm happy that Darren is saying that, the young people went and they listened, and now they're giving their critique of what was said, because they know the facts on the ground is not aligned with the disinformation that was out there. And I say disinformation, and I always say that sometimes it's not misinformation anymore when it was done with intent. When you intentionally go and you give wrong information,
wickedness,
it's disinformation. And I'm glad that young people are opening their eyes there, and they're realizing that this is pure nonsense.
It's wickedness.
It's crazy. So kudos to the young people. I always say, the youth is the future. And I don't just say, a lot of times people say that and they don't. And then I say, the youths are the future. We have to encourage them. Read, go out there, hear for yourselves, research for yourselves. You will understand very clearly what is and what isn't, and you'll be able to separate very clearly the sheep from the goat, as we see here in Guyana. Very important everything that Darren said. And I say to Darren, continue to do the good work, continue to represent the people of Region 10 as you are, and make sure that every bit of disinformation that is spread by the PPP is things that are dismantled immediately, as was done today on this program also. Very good work being done there, and we continue to say keep up the good work, keep up the fight. This is absolutely necessary, guys.
Correct.
Yeah, we always appreciate the folks that come on and join and make sure that they have, they're listening to the information also. Very credible information. You could go fact check. I say fact check every single thing. And I want to add a share at this point. I see the vice president running around very frantically trying to say X,
very
Y,
frantic?
Frantic.
Like testing the sugar?
No, well, the fact of what
the
I'm
saying.
Sugar
to him.
The facts that I'm seeing right now, as this is being played out, is that he is worried. he's worried because they know that they're in trouble. They're in serious
Yeah,
trouble. That's why
correct.
he's running around
Correct.
in that
Correct. It's
manner. And
desperation.
it is desperation because of the work that is being done there by the persons in the region and so forth. So kudos to those people. Keep it up. We will continue to bring you the information. We'll continue to further empower voices of persons that cannot empower their voices on their own. And we will do our part every single day.
Credible and valid. Lena Jacobs. Credible and valid. Edwin Warren. Credible and valid. Marcel Williams and Marilyn Lorimer. Credible and valid. Lennox Anderson. Thanks for joining us, folks. We continue to say you guys make these programs what they are by your presence. We can't do it without you. We got a couple of days left in May, and we are watching. We got our responsibilities at this end that comes with having these programs on a daily basis, all month long, all year round. That's why we say, guys, partner with us so we can continue to keep the lights on and the doors open. You know what I mean in the streets, folks. Keep the lights on, keep the doors open. Partner with us. We know we got Zelle and PayPal, Cash App. We got MMG. You folks, we verify MoneyGram and Western Union as well. You need any guidance? 627-6963 is our number. 627-6963. And we can guide you more. But we need your help. We need your help, guys. Lots and lots of responsibilities. We get financial, folks, to keep these programs moving. Help us along. These programs are for your benefit, folks. That valid and credible. Can't go wrong with that. Valid and credible.
Can't dispute the facts.
Yeah.
Can't.
We need your help. Thanks for partnering with us. Those of you who already do. It means so much to us. Thanks for joining us, folks. Make the shares look nice. Smash the emoji button for us. Make we look nice with the shares, with the emojis, and others get valid and credible information as well. Thanks to you all for joining us. Have a great rest of the weekend. We're back in the morning, bright and early, 8 with FYI for your information, our morning program. Then we're back with another episode of our podcast at 12 tomorrow. And then we're in the ring tomorrow night. We're fighting it out tomorrow night, folks. We'll be back to regular programming tomorrow. Thanks for joining us, each and every one of you. Stay safe. Be gentle with yourselves.
Have a good day, guys. Enjoy what is remaining of the weekend.
And remember not to pop the molly.
You will see you tomorrow. Oh, no, say no to drugs, everyone.
Don't pop
say
the
no,
molly.
Say no to drugs, no matter
Don't
what.
be like the PPP. Don't pop the molly.
Do not use drugs.
Yeah.
Drugs is bad.
Yeah. Stay safe, folks. Stay safe. Stay safe. Stay safe. Stay safe. Stay safe. Stay safe. Stay safe out there. Thanks for joining us.